When dinosaurs went to war, the predator, that changed everything. 66 million years ago, the Earth was not peaceful. Forests stretched across continents, rivers carved through endless floodplains, and enormous animals moved through the landscape like living mountains. But beneath that ancient world, there was constant pressure. Dinosaurs were not just wandering giants peacefully grazing under prehistoric skies. They were locked in a relentless evolutionary struggle where every generation had to adapt or disappear. Most people imagine dinosaurs as simple hunters and prey. A predator runs, the prey escapes or gets caught, and the story ends there. But the fossil record paints a far more intense picture. Bones show scars that healed. Teeth marks appear on skeletons that lived long after the attack. Injuries show animals survived brutal encounters only to return to the battlefield of survival again and again. This suggests something far deeper than simple hunting. It suggests a kind of war. Not a war with armies and strategy the way humans understand it, but a slow evolutionary conflict where species pushed each other to their limits over millions of years. And at the center of one of the most dramatic shifts in that conflict was a predator that did not just dominate its environment. It forced every other dinosaur around it to rethink how survival worked. That predator was Tyrannosaurus rex. But the strange thing is that Tyrannosaurus rex did not simply become the biggest or the most powerful carnivore. Plenty of large predators had existed before it. Something else happened, like something that changed the balance between hunter and hunted across an entire ecosystem. To understand that shift, it helps to forget the movie monster version of T-Rex and look at the world it actually lived in. A world already locked in conflict. Long before Tyrannosaurus rex appeared, dinosaur ecosystems were already incredibly competitive. The late Cretaceous world was crowded with species that had been evolving alongside each other for millions of years. Massive plant eaters moved in herds across plains and forests. Horned dinosaurs like Triceratops carried skulls that looked like living shields. Ankylosaurs walked low to the ground with armor plates fused across their backs and heavy tail clubs ready to swing. Hadrosaurs formed enormous groups, relying on numbers and alertness to detect danger early. And predators had evolved their own strategies in response. Earlier carnivores relied heavily on speed and agility. Some hunted in coordinated groups, overwhelming prey through numbers. Others ambushed from cover, using the element of surprise before delivering a precise killing bite. For a long time, this balance worked. Herbivores evolved stronger defenses. Predators refined their hunting tactics. Each side pushed the other to adapt, but neither gained permanent control. It was a constant evolutionary tug-of-war. Then, near the end of the Cretaceous period, Tyrannosaurus rex entered that already intense world, and it did not play by the same rules. The arrival of Tyrannosaurus rex. At first glance, Tyrannosaurus rex looked like just another giant predator. It stood around 12 meters long and weighed as much as a large truck. But the deeper scientists looked into its anatomy, the more unusual it appeared. Its skull was enormous and heavily reinforced. Its teeth were not thin slicing blades like many earlier carnivores. They were thick, almost banana-shaped spikes designed to withstand immense pressure. Instead of cutting through flesh, they could crush bone. And the force behind that bite was staggering. Modern research suggests Tyrannosaurus rex may have had the most powerful bite force of any land animal that has ever lived. When those jaws closed, they could shatter bone the way a pair of industrial bolt cutters snaps through metal. This meant Tyrannosaurus rex approached hunting differently. Many predators rely on precision. They aim for the neck, the throat, or the belly where the body is vulnerable. T-Rex did not need perfect placement. When it bit down, almost any part of the body became a target. Armor that once protected prey suddenly had limits, and the fossil record began to show the consequences. Evidence written in fossil scars. Scientists studying dinosaur fossils often find something fascinating. Many herbivore skeletons show clear bite marks from Tyrannosaurus rex, but the animal survived long enough for the bone to heal. This means the predator attacked, inflicted massive damage, and the prey escaped. At first, that might seem like a failed hunt, but it actually reveals something important about how pressure worked in that ecosystem. A wounded dinosaur had a harder time keeping up with the herd. Injuries slowed movement, infection could weaken the body. Over time, those disadvantages accumulated, and predators like Tyrannosaurus rex were likely paying attention. Instead of relying on a single perfect kill, repeated attacks across time could wear down prey populations. Individuals that survived one encounter might not survive the next. Those that escaped might carry injuries that made them easier targets later. It was not simply a moment of hunting. It was ongoing pressure applied to entire species. This is where the idea of evolutionary war becomes more than a metaphor. The power of endurance over speed. Earlier predators often relied on bursts of speed. They chased prey across short distances or lunged from hiding places. But Tyrannosaurus rex was built differently. Its legs were powerful, but not designed for extreme sprinting like some smaller predators. Instead, they suggest strong, a steady movement capable of covering ground efficiently. This hints at a hunting style based less on explosive speed and more on persistence. A large predator that could travel long distances while maintaining awareness of herds would have a different advantage. It could observe, it could track, and when the moment came, it could attack with overwhelming force. That force was enough to break through defenses that had evolved over millions of years. When armor was no longer enough, dinosaurs like Ankylosaurus and Triceratops evolved some of the most impressive defensive structures ever seen in land animals. Heavy armor plates, horns, spikes, and bone shields covered their bodies. Against many predators, these features worked extremely well. But Tyrannosaurus rex changed the equation. Those massive defenses came with trade-offs, where thick armor added weight. Large horns meant heavy skulls. Tail clubs required strong muscles and rigid body structures to swing effectively. All of this reduced speed and agility. Against predators that depended on quick attacks, that trade-off was acceptable. But against a predator capable of delivering bone-crushing bites repeatedly, those slow, heavy defenses could become liabilities. A single devastating bite could fracture bone. Another could tear away muscle. Even if the prey survived the initial attack, the damage might change its long-term chances. This forced herbivores into a new evolutionary dilemma. Stay heavily armored and risk being too slow, or evolve new strategies entirely. The breaking point for herds. Large herds had always been one of the best defenses against predators. The dozens or hundreds of animals moving together created constant vigilance. Many eyes could detect danger early, and the sheer size of the group made it difficult for predators to isolate individuals. But Tyrannosaurus rex may have disrupted that advantage as well. A predator with massive power did not necessarily need to bring down the healthiest member of the herd. It only needed to create panic and confusion. A charging T-Rex could force animals to scatter. In that moment of chaos, the weakest, youngest, or injured individuals became exposed. Once separated from the herd, their chances dropped dramatically. This meant herds needed to become more coordinated. Faster responses, tighter formations, and quicker communication could determine survival. Evolution was no longer just about stronger armor. It was about behavior. And the acceleration of evolution. When scientists examine ecosystems from the late Cretaceous, they see evidence of rapid evolutionary changes among herbivorous dinosaurs. Some species became lighter and more mobile. Others developed sharper senses or stronger social behaviors. New variations appeared in horns, frills, and defensive structures. These changes suggest something was applying intense pressure across entire populations. Tyrannosaurus rex was not the only factor, but it may have been one of the most powerful forces shaping that environment. Every hunt acted like a test. Which individuals reacted fastest? Which species adapted their defenses effectively? Which behaviors improved survival odds? Over thousands of generations, those tests reshaped the ecosystem. Are more than just a predator. One of the biggest misconceptions about Tyrannosaurus rex is that it ruled purely through brute strength. But strength alone rarely reshapes entire ecosystems. The real impact came from the way T-Rex interacted with the world around it. It was large enough to challenge the biggest herbivores. Its bite allowed it to damage even armored prey. Its senses were likely highly developed, especially smell and vision. And its size meant few animals could challenge it directly. All of these traits combined into something more influential than simple dominance. Tyrannosaurus rex became a constant environmental pressure, and when pressure continues long enough, evolution responds. A predator that changed the rules. Before Tyrannosaurus rex, many herbivores focused heavily on physical defenses. Armor plates, spikes, thick skulls, and heavy tails dominated their survival strategies. After T-Rex rose to prominence, those strategies alone were not enough. Speed began to matter more. Awareness became critical. Coordination within groups grew increasingly important. The rules of survival shifted from pure physical protection to a mixture of strength, intelligence, and behavior. That shift rippled through entire ecosystems. The Silent War, across generations. It is easy to imagine dinosaur life as a series of dramatic battles. A predator charges, prey fights back, and the outcome is decided within seconds. But the real story was much slower and far more complex. One generation survives slightly better than the last. Another evolves traits that improve awareness or mobility. Predators adapt again in response. Over millions of years, those small changes accumulate into dramatic transformations. The result is a landscape where every species is shaped by the presence of every other species around it. Tyrannosaurus rex did not just hunt within that system, it helped reshape it. Why Tyrannosaurus rex still fascinates us. Part of the reason T-Rex remains one of the most famous dinosaurs is not just its size or power. It represents a moment when evolution pushed predator and prey to extraordinary extremes. Gigantic herbivores developed incredible defensive structures. Predators responded with overwhelming strength and bone-crushing jaws. Each adaptation forced the other side to respond. It was a biological arms race unfolding over millions of years. And Tyrannosaurus rex was one of its most dramatic participants. The world of dinosaurs was not a peaceful prehistoric paradise. It was a landscape shaped by constant pressure where survival meant adapting faster than the threats around you. Tyrannosaurus rex did not simply dominate because it was powerful. It dominated because its presence forced every other species to evolve in response. Its bite shattered bones, but its real impact was far larger than any single hunt. It helped reshape the rules of survival. Across forests, plains, and river valleys, dinosaurs were locked in a slow evolutionary war that lasted millions of years. And while that conflict played out on land, another transformation was quietly taking place in the skies above. Creatures were rising that did not fight gravity. They mastered it. If this journey into the ancient world sparked curiosity, make sure to subscribe and stay connected for the next exploration into the most incredible stories hidden in prehistoric history.